Welcome to Google Ads Unleashed, the podcast that helps you harness the power of Google Ads. And now your host, Jeremy Young.
Hello and welcome back to Google Ads Unleashed, guys. I hope everyone is doing well. Black Week is upon us. If you need any advice on Black Week and how to maximize the period ahead, go back a few podcasts and listen to my best strategies there. Because today I'm going to bring you actually a bit of evergreen content, which, evergreen's in line with Christmas and winter, right? A little bit. And that is how you can easily add another 5% to your bottom line with your PPC strategy. And that is by using Microsoft ads. Dum dum dum. So first of all, maybe a little bit of preamble. I'm not a massive fan of Microsoft ads just because it's a little bit crusty, if that's the right word. The reason is that the market share is really, really low in Europe and in many parts of the world. Bing really, let me lie, it's a maximum of 5% of market share, okay? Across Europe. It's quite a lot higher in the US, so you can, I think gone up to, is it 15% or something like that? Maybe a little bit more even. So as a result, it just never had the resources or has even been a focal point of Microsoft's sort of business strategy, right? Whereas of course Google's revenue, the most of it is still coming from ads, right? Like that is what Google is famous for, and that I think something like 50 or 60% of Alphabet's revenue does still come from advertising. So you can just see that Google is just so much bigger and so much more sophisticated. So it's not, let's say, a surprise that as a result, Microsoft Ads actually even has an import feature, right? So you can literally just import everything that you have from your Google Ads setup and then continue running it there. It goes even as far as Microsoft copying certain specific features, right? Such as the mention of PMax or other things which are more or less one-to-one copies of the same technologies as Google Ads has. They even call it the same, right? So it just goes to show how little ingenuity goes to it, and that it's just another little additional part to your entire marketing mix. And this is what today's podcast is about and what it should be. So I'm not going to reveal a crazy strategy how you can get unbelievable results with Bing, but rather I want you to start thinking of Bing as maybe another a couple of percent on top that can diversify your PPC portfolio a little bit and gives you maybe another little edge on top of what you're already doing in your ad account. And how I would set up Bing would be the following way. So after you made an ad account, there are two big hurdles you'll have to take. The first thing that you need to do is sort out the conversion tracking. So very similar to Google Ads, Bing actually operates on a base tag, which is the Universal Event Tracking Tag, UET tag, which needs to be installed on your store or site for that matter. And then you can create certain conversion goals or conversion events which your campaigns can optimize on and which set the conversions within the interface. It's a little bit, I'd argue it's actually trickier than Google Ads because it's not maybe an interface that you're used to very much. So what I would do and what I would recommend to anyone out there, I would use a software for this. So most of you guys will be working with or using Shopify. And the software that I recommend, if you don't actually have it already, is the feed app by Symprocess. Symprocess, Symprocess. Just have a Google of it. or look it up on the Shopify App Store. But basically, it's a very good feed app, which we actually use for a lot of our Google Ads clients as well. But it also has the big advantage that it automatically sets up the UET tag on your Shopify store, and automatically sets up all of the conversion goals and does the conversion value tracking absolutely automatic with the app integration. And that's worth its weight in gold, right? Because otherwise it's quite a convoluted process. There's plenty of YouTube tutorials out there on how to do it, but if you're not technically minded, or if you need a quick solution, then that is what you should go for, and that is what you need, just an easy solution and some processes, the app. So once you've set up the tracking and done everything, the next hurdle that you have to take is to actually set up a merchant center, right? So there's of course a merchant center in Bing as well, and there you just have to integrate your your existing merchant center from Google Ads. So what you can do is you can literally import the merchant center that you already have, right, to Bing, and hope that works. But sometimes you will run into errors doing this, because the API feeds which are in Merchant Center don't really translate well into Bing Ads. So what do you do? What's the better solution or better result? Well, if you have the SimProcess app already, then it just simply makes sense to send the feed via the SimProcess app to the Microsoft Ads Merchant Center, to the Bing Merchant Center. So that's usually the easiest solution, and that is the one which I would recommend, because it is a ton easier than anything else. Okay. Right, then in the next step, once you've set up the tracking, once you've set up the Microsoft Ads Merchant Center, then you will start having to set up your campaigns. So generally speaking, I would recommend a much leaner setup with Microsoft Ads than with your Google Ads account, because with Google Ads, let's say in a typical Google Ads account that we may have, we will see a brand search campaign, we will see a DSA campaign, we will see a prospecting search campaign, we will see one PMax or several PMaxes, depending on what kind of setup you have, what kind of store you have. You'll have a catch-all shopping campaign. You may have another shopping campaign with a different bidding strategy. You may have a demand gen campaigns running. You'll have a shopping brand campaign. You will have all of these various campaigns. You do not need this convoluted setup with your Bing Ads account. The first thing that you do is to go in the Google Ads import feature, just import your entire ad account over, that's fine, as is, with all of the extensions, negative keyword lists, etc. You can even schedule an import for certain features to be automatically retrieved on a weekly basis, such as, for instance, your negative keywords or new ad extensions, etc. Or you put yourself into your project management system to do this once every quarter or once every half a year, so that it's kind of up to date. But generally, you will not need such a convoluted setup, right? Very often with Bing, it's much easier to simplify things on a massive scale. So you won't need, for instance, a DSA campaign just run with a normal standard search campaign prospecting, which you've imported from your Google Ads account. You can have your normal standard brand search, and instead of having a convoluted PMax setup with this, with brand excluded and then a separate shopping campaign and all this weird setup, all I would do is to have one catch-all shopping campaign or smart shopping campaign, which you can still create within the Bing universe, or one standard PMax, which you've imported, which goes on both brand or non-brand and just blasted out there. Okay. And you would, I know it's sacrilege for me to say, you could just mix brand and non-brand, but the thing is, you have so little spend usually on your Bing Ads accounts that you have to consolidate so crazily in your structure that to make it even worthwhile running. Okay, so traditionally we will have a handful of campaigns. We'll have maybe brand search, search prospecting, and one standard shopping campaign. And that's the end of it. Set appropriate budgets. Make sure that it doesn't import any bizarre budgets from Google Ads, such as daily updates of the budgets of bids or bidding strategies, as simple as that. Just do a one-time import and make sure that everything's running. And then in the last step, what you want to be doing is to make sure that you want to build out all of the assets into or make them native, or make the entire setup a little bit native. Have a little bit a play around. For instance, certain ad extensions don't actually exist in Google Ads, so you can make them separate. Things like action extensions, right? You can actually add them on top to make the ads even nicer. You can, for instance, make native. I say native to a certain degree, such as budgets and bidding strategy and other things. You can even upgrade that, do other things like make sure that the tracking works. Yeah, so for instance, that let's say you import campaigns from Google Ads, and then they have high ROS parameters. You need to make sure that, of course, these are adjusted for Bing, etc., etc. You want to integrate it into your triple whale, whatever you're doing. Just make the channel native and just tidy things up, bits and bobs, to make sure that it runs, and then just run it. And what I would recommend when you run it is to not run it in the same style as your Google Ads accounts, but to give it its own love and TLC, despite it being very little, because Bing has certain advantages. First of all, you unlock a little bit of a different audience, right? So generally speaking, users of Bing are more desktop focused. They are older. They usually have a little bit more money. But so it can be really worthwhile running ads on there. But it has limitations, such as you just won't be able to spend as much. The targeting criteria not as sophisticated, the algorithms not as sophisticated, etc., etc. Okay, so to sum it up, how do you approach Bing? Make sure that you install conversion tracking first after you've created your Bing Ads account. Either get a specialist or consume very timely YouTube videos on how to do this, or simply install the SimProcess app. That is the GOAT for me. Then set up your merchant center. If you can, import your Google Ads merchant center, import the data from there, or just simply send the feed directly with the SimProcess app or a similar feed app into the merchant center. Then do a one-time import of your Google Ads account. Maybe set up a regular import schedule for the most important things, such as negative keywords and things that can just be changed on an evergreen basis. Simplify the structure. Just cut away campaigns you don't need, minimize or make the budget smaller, maybe adapt the bidding strategies, etc., etc., etc. Make sure that you make Bing native by building out more ad assets, etc., etc., and integrate it into your reporting structure, and just tidy up any loose ends. And then just let it run and see what happens. And we do this with a lot of ad accounts. We're actually now in the agency in the process of adding this as standard now to more or less all of our partners, because we've not done it so far due to lack of processes. Now we've actually got the right processes, so we're integrating it, and it's a fun way to just get a little bit more out of your Google Ads performance. And if you want any more expert tips and advice like this, then don't hesitate to reach out. You can always email me at jeremy@younganddigital.marketing, or find me on LinkedIn, Jeremy and Google Ads, or you can visit the website and book a free consultation. Whether it's PPC management you need or one-to-one coaching, there's still 2 spaces free for the new year. I am here to support your growth and to give you the maximum learnings about PPC. So this has been Jeremy Young, your dedicated Google Ads expert, and I wish you a productive and very successful Black Week ahead. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to Google Ads Unleashed. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating and a review. For more information or to connect with Jeremy, check him out online at www.younganddigital.marketing. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.